last 4 or 5 games, he's certainly thrown well enough to win.
Yeah, he certainly has. Players don't want to talk about records like that at all. The only thing you can do as a player is prepare as best you can in between starts, get your work in, and then hope for the best. He's lost a couple of games on some walk-off home runs where the bullpen blew it for him late in the game. But a couple of starts ago, you talk about him pitching well enough to win. He certainly did against the Houston Astros in that game. He established his fastball early. He had a good cutter going, and I think the pitch that really separated him in that game, he had a great changeup. He threw 7 innings, no earned runs, a walk, and 7 strikeouts. 4 times in his 10 starts this year, he has pitched at least 7 innings, so he certainly has pitched well enough to win at least one ball game.
He's up against a tough ball club. Tonight, the Cleveland Indians are in town for the first time. They have 31 wins. That's the second most in the majors, and they're off to one of their best starts ever.
Yeah, if you go back over the last 25 years, the first 50 games of a season, what the Indians have done so far this year is one of their best ones in the last 25 years. Putting it in perspective, if they play 6 games over 500 the rest of the way, they've won 91 ball games, which is probably good enough to get them into the playoffs. Now, when you get off to good starts like this, somebody's got to be coming up with big hits. The ball really goes your way. Everything seems to happen your way. As a team, they're hitting over 300 with runners in scoring position, so things have really happened nicely for the Indians so far.
Pretty dramatic turnaround for the Indians last year. They were 69-93, finished 25 back in the AL Central. This is a pretty good ball club in town tonight. Jamie?
Jays on Rogers Sportsnet. Brought to you by your local independently owned home hardware or home hardware building center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
It is a perfect night for baseball. The roof is open at Rogers Center. The Cleveland Indians are in town for the first time this season. Cleveland has 31 wins. That's the most in the American League. They have one more W than the Boston Red Sox. Manny Acta's team is off to a great start this season. Currently, over their last 22 games, they've just played at .500 ball, but they had that great start to give them a good cushion. They lead the Central by 6. Michael Brantley, Asdrubal Cabrera, and Shin-Soo Choo, the top three in the order. Shelley Duncan is the DH. He's been an excellent pinch hitter for them this year. The veteran Orlando Cabrera has had a lot to do with this club's fast start. He's a veteran presence, has really brought the best out of Asdrubal Cabrera. Carlos Santana, the switch hitting catcher. Matt LaPorta, Austin Kearns, and Jack Hanahan at third base.
They have done everything right offensively, so JoJo Reyes is going to have to be on his game. Takes the mound for his 11th start of the season. Rough outing last time out. Reyes will face the Indians for the first time in his career. He has pitched well enough to win several games, but it just hasn't happened for him yet. Pitched at least 6 innings and given up fewer than 3 earned runs in half of his 10 starts this year. 15 base on balls for Reyes. That's it.
5 of those base on balls came in one ball game. Other than that, he's had pretty good control. First pitch to Brantley is upstairs for a ball. Michael Brantley's done a good job setting the table for this lineup, and truly, when you look at this team, they are well balanced.
They've got some power in that lineup, but what they do the best, I think, is they have good at-bats. They have an idea when they step into that plate what they want to do. They have won some games late, which gives everybody confidence.
There's a base hit the opposite way. Leadoff single. Corey Patterson gets it in. He'll stop Brantley at first.
Let's take a little closer look at tonight's starter for the Blue Jays, JoJo Reyes. Tonight's scattering report brought to you by Home Hardware. Homeowners helping homeowners. Fastball strikes. I think everything has got to come off of his fastball, pitch off of it, and have command with his fastball. He's added a cutter this year to get in on right-handers, keep it away from the lefties. And he's got the improving changeup. He is using it more now. Tonight would be a good night to have a good one.
Brantley draws a throw. He had that one-way lead. Wanted to see what Reyes was featuring with a pickoff move. Asdrubal Cabrera, what a start to his season. Over 300, 10 home runs. That gives him a career high. Another throw at first. Cabrera coming into the season had 18 for his career.
A high of 6 in 1 year. And so he has just blown right past that now. And he's come up with some huge hits, some big walk-off hits for the Indians.
Reyes keeping a real close eye on Brantley. Brantley's 7 for 9 in steals this year. The Indians run at a pretty good success rate. Asdrubal Cabrera is 7 for 7. He's not been caught yet this season. Top of the order has really set the table very effectively. Ground ball, third. Nix to second for 1. Back to first. What a double play. Juan Rivera looks like a seasoned veteran with that glove around the bag at first. He hung in there and took the low throw, backhanded it, and made a nice play. Good play all around the infield.
Yeah, first from Jason Nix, the third baseman, as he backhands it, sets his feet quickly and gives a good throw to Aaron Hill. Right where you want it, behind that bag. He can use that as an extra defender. Aaron Hill does that, and with that strong arm, Juan Rivera goes down, stays down, and picks that one for the double play.
Shin-Soo Choo, the number 3 hitter. Off to a bit of a slow start with the average. He'll always be around 300. Ground ball. Hill back in behind second. Makes the play. What a quick inning for JoJo Reyes. He gives up a leadoff single. Just 5 pitches for Reyes. Good defense behind him. Out of the first inning. Good pivot at second by Aaron Hill. Let's take a look at the Blue Jays lineup. Big day yesterday. 13 runs on a season high, 18 hits. Yunel Escobar, top of the order, is riding a 10-game hit streak. Corey Patterson, 9 hits in his last 2 games. And what can you say about Jose Bautista? He's leading the world in everything. Juan Rivera, he too has a long hit streak. Aaron Sebia, Hill, Thames, and Rajai Davis and Nix round out the lineup.
Fausto Camarda has pitched extremely well against the Blue Jays. 3-0 in 5 career starts versus him. He hasn't had a lot of runs to work with. One of the AL's lowest run support at just 3 runs a game.
First pitch, strike to Escobar. One of the real power pitchers in the game, and he's got a lot of great movement on his fastball. Had a big breakthrough season back in 2007. And that's always unsettling when you see that high fastball up and in.
Yeah, it's a heavy fastball also. Carmona's record at 3-5, an ERA about 4.5. Just doesn't have a lot of runs to work with. Last few outings, he has struggled a bit. 0-2 with his ERA approaching 7.
One and 2 to Escobar. There's that late moving fastball. He'll throw it 93, 94 miles an hour, and it's got late dramatic movement.
Well, one of the things that the Indians have done with Carmona is they've tried to get him to be a little less predictable. You would know that when he was on the mound, he's throwing a lot of those fastballs that were just going straight down. They want him to throw a few more changeups now, a few more breaking balls.
Ball is hit to center field. Brantley is there. Escobar's retired, 1 out.
Fausto Carmona, the big man. Let's take a look at the scouting report for him. He is their #1 starter. He's thrown opening day for him. Carmona's numbers, he's got that heavy sinking fastball block like you were just talking about. More changeups, more curveball. He still needs to use that fastball and I think establish it, but he's not as predictable. Throwing a couple more breaking pitches. In ball in play, you'll always get a lot of balls in play with Carmona on the mound. He's got a low walk total, and his strikeout totals are not very high either.
Red hot Corey Patterson doesn't waste any time going after the first pitch, and his average is up over 300. I guess it helps when you're 9 for 12 in your last 2 games.
He knows what they're trying to do to him, challenging him a little bit more.
There's a ball down the left field line, but it slices foul. Corey Patterson's had one of the best runs in Blue Jays history. When you look at what he has done here in May, he's hit .321, scored 19 runs at 35 hits, 9 hits in the last 2 games. That's a club record. 8 hits previously the record. Bob Baylor, George Bell, Paul Molitor, Frank Catalamato, Aaron Hill, and Adam Lind, all with 8 hits. What a shot that is. That handcuffed Orlando Cabrera at second. Corey Patterson's on everything he swings at.
Yeah, you can't hit it any better than that. And you can't guide it anywhere either. When you're swinging the bat, just keep doing it. Just keep staying right there. They will find the hole.
Hard to get handcuffed when you're 140 feet away, but Cabrera got handcuffed. Now Bautista will step in. The infield has shifted. 3 infielders on the left side of the diamond.
We started seeing the Tampa Bay Rays employ this defense with the second baseman playing right behind the pitcher. Looks like they're going to pound him inside.
Really? Anybody's going to try to pitch him inside. I don't know about that strategy. He's as quick as anybody in the game. It'll be fun to watch. Bautista ahead in the count. That's dramatic movement. Talk how challenging that is for a hitter to see the ball that far off the plate and then break back over the plate.
You can't give up on it. It's almost like a left-hander's slider where it starts on the outside batter's box and then comes back over. You got to stay right with it. Don't give up on it. Talking to Aaron Hill today, and he was talking about his approach against Carmona, how he's got to look for the ball up because he's got that dramatic movement on those fastballs. Anything from the thigh, you got to take it. Bullet
into center field. They had to shift around, and Bautista crosses up the shift, goes right back up the middle. First base hit off Carmona. Last two balls have been scorched.
First Patterson, and now Jose Bautista. Watch him extend. That ball is right down the middle. And he hit it hard. If he got that ball airborne, that would have taken a window out in center field.
We watch him every day, but I don't know if there's anybody in the game that gets as many good swings during the course of one game than Jose Bautista. 2 outs now, Juan Rivera. Rivera's hot. 11-game hit streak, hitting .386 during that stretch. His average up to .250.
Even the balls that he hasn't been hitting for base hits, he's been hitting them hard. Been robbed a couple of times.
Got to be encouraging for the Blue Jay hitters. First time they've seen Carmona this year to see Patterson hit a line drive right to the second baseman, and then Bautista rope one into center.
And he's had great success against the Blue Jays. He's never lost to them in 5 career starts.
Popped up down the right field line. Chu, Laporta with a dive, but it was well beyond his reach.
Well, since he has moved to first base, he has taken off offensively. Look at that, 385 average since he has been put in at first base spot. With more confidence and more at bat, he's playing a position. Currently on that 11-game hit streak.
Carmona hit a ball and 2 strikes. We're in the first inning. Bautista's at first. There's that good sinking fastball down under the bat of Rivera, and Carmona picks up his first strikeout. Bautista comes up with a 2-out single. Rivera strikes out. Dramatic movement from Carmona. We're scoreless after 1. Plays behind Ricky Romero already tonight. A good double play.
Yeah, they flashed the leather yesterday. Corey Patterson was one of those. He'll be in left field. Rajay Davis again made one heck of a catch in yesterday's game. Jason Nix took away a hit early in that game. Escobar, Hill, Rivera will round out the infield. J. Pierre and Sevilla will form the battery tonight with Jojo Reyes. But yeah, the defense has been outstanding so far.
Juan Rivera has been very solid at first base, and I think he's having a lot of fun playing over there. Shelley Duncan, the DH, hitting in the cleanup spot. Looks at a first pitch strike. Shelley Duncan and his father both played for the Indians. Dave Duncan was a catcher in his playing day. Now, of course, the great pitching coach that's currently in St. Louis. Hot shot down the line. Nix dives into foul ground. Long throw. Not in time. Boy, again, Rivera with a good stretch and a scoop of the ball in the dirt, but Duncan runs so well, and Nix was in foul ground when he made the throw.
It looked like the ball bounced twice over to first base. What an effort by Nix to get the ball, keep it in the infield. If he could have thrown it over there without 2 bounces, if he could have gotten it over there on 1 bounce, I think he would have got Duncan. What a play as he dives into foul territory. Comes up, there's 1, and there's the extra bounce right there.
So Duncan's aboard. Orlando Cabrera makes the first pitch strike. Cabrera bounces around. He plays all over. Signed as a major league invite. Made this ball club in spring training, but they had an idea they could use him. He's one of those guys that you put him on a team and they just seem to win, no matter where he goes. Started out in the Montreal system, and he's a guy that just has a knack for knowing how to win.
Yeah, Boston Red Sox. He was on that team after Nomar Garciaparra was traded. Knows how to play the game. Knows his role. And what was Brian Butterfield telling you today about the scouting report on Cabrera?
Yeah, the Blue Jays are like every major league club, really well prepared, and they were going over Cabrera, and he had more notes on Cabrera's scouting sheet than anybody on the team as far as what you had to be aware of things he could do. Hot shot up the middle into center field. Duncan will stop at second. Back-to-back base hits start to second for Cleveland.
You can hit and run with him. He'll bunt, but he's always been, I think, an offensive middle infielder. Came up as a shortstop. That time bangs it right by Escobar.
Cabrera's a 2-time Gold Glove winner, and he didn't sign with the Indians till the 16th of February. But boy, they have to be pleased that they made a last-minute decision to bring him into camp. So now the catcher, Carlos Santana, he's a switch hitter. He'll bat right-handed against Jojo Reyes. Good-looking young player, and Cleveland has a knack for developing young talent.
Yeah, one of the better young hitters in baseball, not because of his numbers. Okay, his numbers are down at 212, coming off a horrific injury last year, but he has an idea at the plate. Swings hard like Bautista, but he also has an eye at the plate. Will lay off pitches, will see a lot of pitches, and if you make a mistake, he lets it fly.
Carlos Santana just turned 26 years old, and the thing about Santana, he's a switch hitting catcher. He was signed by the Dodgers originally, and Cleveland traded for him.
Signed as a third baseman with the Dodgers. The Indians were about a week too late getting to him when he was a youngster, when he was 17.
But how could you give up on a switch hitting catcher that early in his career? He signed with the Dodgers in 04, and he was traded to Cleveland in 08 in a July deal that sent Casey Blake from the Indians to the Dodgers.
Somebody messed up in that Dodger organization letting this guy go.
That's a big oops. Breaking ball downstairs.
I remember when that deal was made, and the Indian personnel were saying, wow, I don't know how we got this guy. We've had our eye on him. Like I said, they tried to sign him when he was a 17-year-old, but the Dodgers beat him to the punch.
A fly ball in the center field. Davis has the speed to close ground and make the catch. Rajay Davis has been playing very well in center field. Made a great catch slamming up against the center field wall in the White Sox series.
That was Brett Littlebridge against Ricky Romero, and the defense yesterday really helped out Ricky Romero. He knew he didn't have his A game, and this catch right here saved a couple of runs, maybe more, as he goes straight back and takes away those extra bases.
It was so good, Rajai even liked it. Came in the second inning, and that's before Blue Jays had really developed a big lead, but defense was great all afternoon against Chicago. Matt Laporta takes an inside pitch off the plate. Matt Laporta was acquired by Cleveland in the CC Sabathia deal with the Milwaukee Brewers, former #1 pick out of Florida. Jammed over near the first base seats, and that'll get back out of play.
When you have a big player like a CC Sabathia, and he's made it clear that he wasn't going to sign back with the Cleveland Indians, you better do your homework. And it seems like the Indians did their homework. Laporta came over here, and he's really starting to find himself as a major league hitter. Another player that they got in that deal was Michael Brantley. And Brantley certainly has, I think, made a name for himself. Playing some good ball for him, leadoff hitter for the Tribe.
Ball on the strike, one out. First and second. Ball is driven to right. Bautista turns on the run. He's got a beat on it. He'll make the catch. Duncan goes back and tags at second. He'll move over to third. But Bautista ran it down just short of the warning track in right field.
Laporta has had some of his better days in his young career against the Blue Jays. Hit his first big league home run right here a couple of years ago.
Now the veteran Austin Kearns off to a slow start. 191. He's just driven in 2. And Pat talked about what a good job the Indians have done as a team with runners in scoring position. They've hit .311. That's best for first in the American League. First pitch breaking ball for a strike.
They don't look phased when they get guys in scoring position. It seems like their approach is the same. Very solid fundamentals at the plate. They've hit some balls hard this inning. Staying within themselves.
Changeup down and in. When you look at Jojo Reyes, you say, well, okay, he's got all of the pitches, and lately his cutter and his changeup have been much better. And you mentioned a great start against Houston, 7 innings, a 3-hit shutout ball. Last time out against the Yankees, he gave up a couple of home runs.
I thought he really stayed on top of that cutter, just like that last pitch right there to Austin Kearns. He stayed on top of that ball, really drove it towards home plate. That was against Houston a couple of starts ago, and his changeup was outstanding. Houston had never faced him before. They didn't have an idea of what he could do. There were a lot of changeups, and they were very effective.
A little bit of a cut fastball right in on the hands of Austin Kearns. Back-to-back base hits to start the inning, but Jojo Reyes strikes out Kearns to strand a pair. His first strikeout of the night.
Kearns, Brantley, and Chu across the diamond. Hanahan and Laporte on the corners. The Cabreras in the middle, Asdrubal and Orlando. Carlos Santana throwing out 24% of the runners trying to steal against him behind the plate. And there's some good arms in the outfield, and Sin-Chu Chu's got one of the best.
Chu has 7 outfield assists from right field. That's the most in the American League. J.P. Arencibia will start to second for the Jays. Off to a good start in his rookie season. Let's go back and explain the hitting philosophy again. You talked about Aaron Hill, what his sights are when he faces Carmona. Talk about the best approach against Carmona.
He was telling me that his fastball is a little bit different than Bartolo Colon's. Colon's fastball, goes side to side. Carmona's goes up and down.
This is over behind the Indians dugout.
So if you see the ball out of his hand and it's a fastball and it's about thigh high, normally that's a good pitch to hit if you're at the plate. But because he's got such dramatic movement on his pitches, that's a pitch where you've got to take, because by the time it gets to home plate, it's going to be under the knees. It's going to be a ball. You got to think about the ball about shoulder high or letter high, and then that ball is going to end up then in the sweet spot of your swing. Very difficult to pick the ball up from Carmona.
You have to make a quick decision too. Got to decide, okay, that's high enough, because once it gets down around the knees, it's going to be out of the strike zone. Carmona ahead 0-2, and there it is. You see it about thigh high, and it just disappears once it gets to that hitting zone.
Yeah, right about halfway to home, you see it, you say, okay, that's a pitch that I can hit. And he's got such good movement, and it's from down to up. Look how much of the break that he has on that. And it's tough to lay off of it.
That was a good example, as you saw him set the ball in his glove, of a two-seam fastball grip. He takes those first 2 fingers and runs it right on top of those 2 seams. 1 out. Let's see how disciplined Hill is, whether or not he can use his own philosophy. First home run of the season yesterday, a grand slam, his first of his career. Slider outside.
And he was the one who was saying that the scouting report on Carmona is he is not as predictable as he was in the past, where you knew that you were going to get that turbo sinker, that hard sinker right in on your hands. Mixing things up a little bit more this year with a change-up and a slider.
Hill went against his own scouting report there. He got excited with a 2-0 count. That was that low sinker that's tough to catch up to. This time he hits it, but it's a 1-hopper to third. Jack Hanahan has it. 2 quick outs here.
Fausto Carmona in 2007, you touched on it briefly last inning. What a year he had. 19-8. He finished 4th in the American League Cy Young voting. An outstanding earned run average of 3.06. But since then, things just haven't been the same for him. And I think command has a lot to do with that. He hasn't had the great command. That year, a lot of people were swinging at his pitches, and he was throwing strikes.
Eric Thames grounds it to first base, and Laporte wins the foot race. Quick inning for Carmona. It took him just 9 pitches to get out of the second. one game away from going to the World Series. They lost to Boston in Game 7 of the ALCS. Only Sizemore, Cabrera, Hafner, Rafael Perez, and Fausto Carmona remain from that team. And it's pretty impressive. They could turn over that dramatically. 20 new players on this team, and Travis Hafner is currently on the disabled list. But they've got a new manager, entirely new coaching staff, and they are back top of the AL Central. Sizemore not in the lineup today. He played 3 games just coming off the disabled list.
New general manager Mark Shapiro has now become president of the team, and Chris Antonelli has taken over as the general manager. That's what happens with, I don't know if you want to call them small market, mid majors, whatever you want to call them, happens. Your window of opportunity to get to the World Series is so small because of the payroll.
Even in the 90s, when they had that great run with Jim Thome and Manny Ramirez and Sandy Alomar Jr. and all those great players, they had a certain amount of time, and at the time they were selling out the stadium every night. They had 450 consecutive sellouts. Sandy Alomar Jr. was part of that as a player. Hanahan pops it into left field. Corey Patterson comes in a few steps. But your window of opportunity for these, and whatever you want to call them, they don't spend much money. They can't afford to spend much money. They can't compete. And because of that, they had to trade away Victor Martinez, Cliff Lee, and CC Sabathia. That's pretty tough.
So you have to do your homework. You've got to steal some players from other organizations. The Indians were the first team I recall that really signed young players to undervalue contracts, if you will. Bought up some of their arbitration years, bought up some of their free agent years, signed them to long-term contracts that were undervalued at the time, but it kept the nucleus of the teams together.
That was under the guidance of John Hart, who was the GM at that time. It was a great formula. Carlos Baerga, Sandy Alomar Jr., Steve Olin, one of their fine young pitchers, Charles Nagy. They bought out a lot of arbitration years, and they were able to keep those guys to the point where they became a championship caliber ballpark.
Kenny Lofton and Jim Thome and Manny Ramirez. I mean, those were the teams of the 90s while they won year after year after year.
2 balls and a strike, 1 out. We are in the 3rd inning of a scoreless game.
I think it's a credit to the scouts and the farm system of the Indians to be able and know what's on your plate. We've got to let you go. We've got to trade this guy, but we're going to continue to win.
Well, you have to make sure you have replacements for them, and that's what the Indians have done so effectively. They've made some tough deals at the deadline because of financial concerns. July 08, CC Sabathia to Milwaukee. He won the Cy Young in 07. Victor Martinez to Boston. They got Justin Masterson, who was pitching very well for them, and then Cliff Lee to Philadelphia. And these are tough deals, but they had to make them. They knew they had to get something in return before these players left to free agency.
You want to get some major league players, which they did, but you also want to try and get some of the best kids in their the other farm system. They got Carrasco from the Philadelphia Phillies in the Cliff Lee deal. They also got a young pitcher who was an A-ball and got hurt right after that.
Carlos Carrasco is off to a good start. Asdrubal Cabrera takes an inside strike. 0-2. He didn't like the call. Turned around to express his displeasure with Marvin Hudson, the home plate umpire. But Cabrera's another player that was acquired in a trade, and they kind of fleeced Seattle in that trade. Bouncing ball to Reyes. He'll go to second. Hill's there for 1. Back to first. Plenty of time. The defense continues to sparkle. JoJo Reyes made a good pitch and a good throw to Aaron Hill at second. Second double play of the night. The Blue Jays have turned 48 double plays now. Defense on their toes. Good patient throw. Strong return to first. Rajai Davis will lead things off against Fausto Carmona. Blue Jays with just one hit. That was Jose Bautista's 2-out single in the first. Davis rips it. That's a fair ball all the way down the left field line. Davis is headed for second, and he'll get there with a stand-up double to start the third. His 6th double of the season.
Not wasting any time. Blue Jays pounded out 26 runs, 45 hits in the 3 wins against the Chicago White Sox over the weekend. Rajai Davis a big part of that, and he'll start it here as he rifles one right past Joel Hanrahan down into the corner in left field. Good start here in the 3rd inning.
Davis average up to 268 now. Jason Nix snapped the long 0 in yesterday's game. He went 2 for 4. That snapped an 0 for 22. Nix showing bunt, pulls the bat back. Well, you have to think playing for a run against Carmona is a good approach.
Get the ball down on the ground and let the legs of Rajai Davis do the rest. That's the luxury of having a guy who can run out at second base. You don't have to be perfect if you're going to bunt the ball. Just get it down.
Davis broke and Carmona missed the inside corner. It's 2-0. Davis is such a distraction whenever he gets on base. He's extremely adept at stealing third. He's 8 for 8 in steals of third. Nix was swinging away. Why is it easy for base runners to steal third base?
Bigger lead. You can get a bigger lead at second base than you get at first base. Pitcher gives you one look. He really doesn't have a pickoff move to second base, not like you can do over at first.
His shortstop Asdrubal Cabrera moving out of his defensive position, so you keep an eye on Davis.
You have to have confidence if you're a base runner, if you're out that far, that you can get back if they do put a pickoff play on at second base. It's usually a step and a dive. That's the length of your lead. One step towards the bag and then a dive, and you should be able to make it back.
Now they have switched coverage at second. Orlando Cabrera, the second baseman, has come in. It's driven well foul down the left field line. Nick's got the head out.
So you can do this not having to move the runner down because of the speed of Rajai Davis. You can take a shot and try and drive him in with your number 9 hitter, because if he doesn't, if he ends up not moving the runner and making it out, you just let him try and steal third when Escobar comes up.
Two balls and 2 strikes, nobody out. Orlando Cabrera broke into second, and that forced Davis back. Early in this at bat, they had the shortstop keeping an eye on Davis. Now they've switched to Orlando Cabrera, the second baseman. That's kind of interesting given the fact there's 2 strikes now. You'd think that Nix would be shortening up, trying to hit it to the right side.
And I think it's that fastball that he has, that he can just turbo it in on your hands. Tough to get the ball to the right side when that fastball's coming in on you.
Carmona's just 3-5 for the season. The team has gone 5-6 in his starts. You mentioned a poor run support. He's got an average of 3.1 runs per start. Long drive left field. Jason Nix has just gone deep. 2-run home run Nix. For Nix, number 3 on the season. RBIs 9 and 10. Jays lead it 2-0.
With Fausto Carmona changing the way that he is throwing against right-handers, not so much fastball. This is a spinning slider over the middle of the plate. It speeds up the bat of Jason Nix. Carmona now has given up 9 home runs.
There's a base hit into right by Escobar.
5 of those home runs have come to a right-handed batter so far this year. Last year, all season long, Carmona gave up 9 home runs to right-handed batters. 5 already as Nix touches him up.
Jason Nix' timing starting to come around. We mentioned he'd come off the disabled list and went 0 for 22 in his first 22 at-bats, and then got a base hit in his first AB yesterday. Finished up 2 for 4. Drove in a couple of runs yesterday. He's driven in 2 more here tonight.
This is the setup right here that John Farrell loves. Patterson at the plate. You've got Escobar over at first base. You've got the hole to shoot for. And the majors home run leader on deck.
Patterson hit a rocket right to the second baseman his first time up. But that base hit, Escobar has extended his hit streak to 11 games. Blue Jays have a couple of long hit streaks now. Rivera also riding an 11-game hit streak. Carmona's hard pressed to really have anything for Corey Patterson. Doesn't have a real soft off-speed pitch. His slider is fairly hard. Patterson generally struggles when a guy got a slow curveball or a good changeup
with big break to it. I thought that was always the problem with Fausto Carmona, that everything he threw was at the same speed. Everything was hard.
Ground ball. This could be 2. Orlando to Asdrubal, back to first. Double play. The Cabreras around the bag at second are very good. Orlando Cabrera with the quick underhand toss to Asdrubal Cabrera. And they are not related.
But they're very good. Orlando Cabrera 3 errors this season. Asdrubal 5.
Bautista 1 for 1.
I think it was wishful thinking the last time Bautista was at the plate, and I said they're going to pound him inside because I want to see him connect against one of these fastballs.
Well, this is the type of guy that can't really command the corners as much as he does up and down.
See how he laid off that pitch there? That's just great discipline.
Juan Rivera on deck. No reason to not give Bautista the green light here.
He's missing his spots. He's trying to stay away from Jose Bautista. But the 2 times he tried to throw a fastball in the outside corner, they went right back over the inside corner. Not a good thing.
Takes the walk. 2-out walk to Bautista. Blue Jays have taken a 2-0 lead here in the 3rd inning. Jason Nix homers against his former team. 46 walks now for Bautista. He leads Abreu by 9. Cabrera is also with 37. Indians catcher Carlos Santana has 34. Juan Rivera struck out on a good sinking fastball to end the first. Rivera looks like he really enjoys playing first base. It's a challenge, I'm sure, for him, knowing that just gives him a little more value, another position he can play.
You know, the thing that has surprised me, and I've watched him take ground balls in the past. But watching him around the bag, you have to have good feet, be able to move around, and he does that. And you have to have soft hands. This guy's been an outfielder basically his whole career, and at first base, his hands are so soft, digging balls out of the dirt, fielding ground balls. There are little nuances about playing first base that he just hasn't gotten down. Luis Rivera was telling me that the other day. But for the most part, he's looked very comfortable over there.
So many things going on, and everybody, for many years, everybody said, "Oh, we'll just put him at first. Anybody can play first." That's not the case at all. There's a lot of things going on over there, and a lot of decisions first basemen have to make very quickly. 1-2 to Rivera. Plays off that sinker that time. That's the same pitch he struck out on in the first. Hit hard. Asdrubal Cabrera with a backhand in time to second to get Jose Bautista. But Jason Nix has put the Blue Jays on top. A 2-run home run here in the third inning. His third home run of the season. Time 7 p.m. Central Time on City TV. America's Got Talent tomorrow night. Brandon Morrow, Kyle Drabek, both pitching much better of late. Jojo Reyes doing a good job. He's been staked to an early lead here. Shin-Soo Choo, the right fielder. When you talk about the right fielders, we've got two of the best in the game here in this game tonight for being able to do everything. Choo's average is down this year, but he's always one of the best defensively. Great base runner. He's got power.
You mentioned that he leads the American League in outfield assists with 7. He did that last year. He had 14 outfield assists for the Indians. 20 home runs, 20 stolen bases, and a .300 batting average the last 2 years for Choo. Only one other player in baseball can say he did that, and that's Hanley Ramirez from the Marlins.
The last 2 years, Choo with the 21 assists. Bautista has 17, and Jeff Francoeur has 17. So those are the best throwing right fielders. Strike 3 call. All right, Jojo Reyes came into the front door and snuck one by Choo.
Looked like that cut fastball that he has added this year. Watch the movement right at the end. Good job by Aaron Sebia to hold it right there for home plate umpire Marvin Hudson. And a dangerous hitter is kept off the bases.
Shelley Duncan singled his first time up. And a bouncing ball past the bag at third. Nix dove, caught it, but didn't get it to first in time to get Duncan. Long drive left field. This ball's got distance. It is a home run into the fifth deck for Shelley Duncan. Just his second home run, and it was a monster. Just inside the foul pole, way up in the fifth deck.
That might be worth two. The way and the distance that he hit with that one. When he recognized that pitch as it was coming to home plate, watch him. His eyes get huge, and he winds up and crushes the ball down the left field line. Somehow kept it fair. And it ended up in the fifth deck and bounced back onto the playing field.
Ball is popped up and back into the seats. Orlando Cabrera had a base hit his first time. Another look at the ball where it lands in the fifth deck. And you don't see guys up in the fifth deck very often in left. Jose Canseco hit the one in the playoffs off Mike Flanagan deep up into the seats in left. Manny Ramirez off Chris Carpenter hit one up there on a similar pitch to the one Duncan just hit, a slow breaking ball. But that's a long way away.
That is way out, right above that speaker, right down the left field line.
2 balls and 2 strikes on Orlando Cabrera. Cabrera had that single his first time up. He's now just 6 hits shy of 2,000 for his career. Little looper into left. Corey Patterson on the run and makes the catch. Corey Patterson hid that glove from the third base umpire, DJ Rayburn. Rayburn had to run down the left field line to get a look, but Patterson makes another good play in left.
He's been making that for the last 10 days, 2 weeks or so in left field. He gets good jumps. He has thrown well from left field. This time he will take a hit away as he snatches it right off the turf.
He looks like a totally different player in left field than he did in center.
Center field, his routes to the ball weren't as precise as they are in left field. I don't know if he's getting better reads in left field. Left field's harder to play than center field.
Any outfielder you talk to will tell you that. Ball's always hooking, as that last drive was, but he has played very well. The catcher, Carlos Santana. Three and oh. We mentioned the home run to the fifth deck. That was the 15th home run into the fifth deck at Rogers Stadium.
Jays on Rogers Sportsnet, brought to you by your local independently owned Home Hardware or Home Hardware Building Center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
We mentioned the Jose Canseco home run. That occurred October 7th of 1989. It was game 4 of the ALCS. Into the upper deck, the 500 level. It was measured at 480 feet. And it was back near the back of the second orange exit.
That was the first one that was hit in the upper deck here. Right up in that area there.
And then naturally Mark McGuire would hit the second one up there. This one's popped up right out between home plate and the mound. Rivera calls Aaron Sebia off of it and makes the catch. Juan Rivera takes command and makes a catch to close out the inning. Jojo Reyes has a 1-run lead. Comfort Zone, our guest of TD Canada Trust. The TD Comfort Zone, front and center, and they just saw one of the long home runs ever hit here at Rogers Center. The 15th time a hitter has hit one into the 500 level. Shelley Duncan. JP Arancibia singles to left field. First pitch fastball from Carmona. It's a 5th hit for Blue Jays already. They've had their hitting shoes on lately.
They certainly have. 18 hits yesterday, the most since they got 19 against Minnesota back in April of 2009. 5 of them already here as Arancibia picks up his first hit of the night.
Had 15 hits on Saturday and 12 more on Friday night. Dwayne Murphy's a happy guy. Aaron Hill. It's the first pitch for a strike. Murphy was talking about that before the game, how his hitters needed a game or two like that where they could get multiple hits and start to feel good about themselves again. Hill's seeing the ball pretty well against Carmona. He's able to lay off that inside fastball.
Stay right with that. You know, hitting is so funny. So much of it is in between your ears. And that's funny that you talk about Murphs, talking about hitters and feeling good about themselves. It all rides together.
Another good example of Hill tracking the ball very well.
Staying off of it, staying with his game plan. Isn't it funny how you get 2 hits your first 2 times in the game and how relaxed you are going up there that 3rd time? Why can't you do that all the time? I wish it was that easy.
3-1. Well, you touched on it in reference to Ricky Romero, how negative thoughts entered into it. And even as experienced as Aaron Hill is, that's been a lot of his problem this year.
Yeah, I asked him about that today, about how much it was weighing on him that he had gone 100 and so at bats without hitting a home run. And hitters know. They know when they haven't hit a home run. They look up there and they see that they have a goose egg for home runs.
And they also know because the opponents tell you from time to time.
Brandon Inge was kidding him the last time the Tigers were in town here. He's like, I got one. When are you going to get yours? So he texted Inge last night and said, I got mine.
That hit Hill, he will be awarded first base. So 2 in a row. And in that text Hill sent to Inge, he also said, I'm now on pace for 4. So who says ball players don't have fun? They can laugh at themselves too. So the first 2 are aboard here in the 4th. That's the last thing Carmona wanted to do after Shelley Duncan hit that long home run to cut into a Blue Jays lead. Blue Jays in a normal situation with a regular player might bunt in this situation. Be interesting to see if they ask Thames to bunt here.
I would just let him swing. He's got extra base power in that bat. 27 home runs last year in the minor leagues. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I would guess that he didn't have too many sacrifice bunts in his minor league career.
Now, when you hit 3rd and 4th in the lineup, you don't bunt very often. One thing we have seen, and it's consistent, Thames has a good eye.
Able to make adjustments at the plate. Has an idea when the pitchers are what they're trying to do to him.
John Farrell's seen some of the youngsters step up and do a nice job. Runners in scoring position over the last 5 games has not been a problem. 382 is a club. 13 for 34. That's quite a turnaround from what they had done earlier. Manny Acta now. This is an unusual trip most of the time. You have the pitching coach come out here, but Acta, of course, can speak Spanish and looks like he's talking directly to Carmona. Hey, just don't try so hard now. He tried to throw that last pitch right through the backstop.
Yeah, he has that little idiosyncrasy where he recoils after he throws the pitch. He throws it and then his arm comes straight back. They want to follow through just a little bit more.
Manny Acta in his second season with the Indians. You see the Indians a little bit of a rough stretch, 1-4 over the last 5. They've not pitched well. They certainly haven't hit much, and the run differential, which has been so good for them all year, is -22. There's a base hit into left field. Aaron Sebe is going to get the stop sign as Thames rifles it into left. Bases loaded, nobody out.
He's a good-looking young hitter. He is not overmatched. He can hit, and he knows it. That's an important part. 2-0, he is looking for fastball down Broadway, and he gets it. Hits it the other way. Good quick bat there. So bases loaded and nobody out.
Blue Jays have not hit well as a team. Just .219 this season with the bases loaded. And there's a base hit. Aaron Sebe will come in to score. Aaron Hill's getting the wave around third. Thames goes to third, and Davis ends up with second. A 2-run double for Rajai Davis.
Yeah, I think Fausto Carmona, his stuff really plays well for Rajai Davis. The problems that Davis has had, the right-handers who spin a breaking ball away from him, but that fastball comes right into his sweet spot. Second double of the night for Davis. Another one right past Hanahan, the third baseman. 2 RBIs. Davis now has 10 on the season, and the Blue Jays have something going.
Bottom of the order doing some damage tonight. Nix has already homered. Takes the first pitch strike. Davis, 2 doubles and 2 RBI. He's scored a run, and Nix has a 2-run homer. Second and third, nobody out. Nix has got to make Carmona bring that ball up.
And he knows it too. You see when he walked away from home plate there, he's mad at himself. That's the pitch that Carmona will use. And if you keep swinging at it, he's going to keep throwing it there.
0-2. Way outside. Well, you look at Carlos Santana, and he reminds me of Tony Pena. About the same size. Pena wasn't quite as stout as Santana, but boy, he's got a lot of Pena's actions behind the plate.
Good soft hands, good quick feet. Moves around back there, very animated behind the plate.
Big strikeout for Carmona. That 2-seam fastball out of the strike zone. Third strikeout for Carmona.
It looks like a fastball about knee high and then just drops. Hicks used to play for the Indians, so he knows exactly what Carmona's stuff does. That time comes up empty-handed.
Top of the order. Escobar had a base hit his last time up. That base hit extended his personal hit streak to 11 games. Average creeping toward 300. Boy, third time through the order for Escobar. You can see he's got a pretty good read on Carmona now.
It looks, the 2 ways that he took those last 2 pitches, that he's looking for the ball away, where he can keep it in the middle of the diamond and pick himself up an RBI. Just take everything on the inner half and look for something away.
It was out there, but it had late sink on it, and he swung right over the top. 2-1. Big situation for the Blue Jays if they can add to their 3-run lead here. The numbers jump each time the lineup gets to see Carmona. Corey Patterson Line to second and hit into a double play. 3-1 to Escobar. Bouncing ball. Thames got a good break from third. That ball is a foul ball. Well, a good job by the third baseman recognizing that he wasn't going to have a play on Escobar. Let it go, and the ball had enough spin to take it into foul ground.
And the English on that ball really jackknifed it foul. Right off the top of home plate. Hanahan was going to make a play, but then when it bounced that last time, watch the last bounce. It looked like he was going to try and set his feet, grab it barehanded, but it just jackknifes into foul territory.
Yeah, he caught a break, and he wouldn't have had a chance to draw out Escobar, even if he grabbed it with a bare hand. Still second and third, full count, 1 out. Bases are loaded. So a second time in this inning, the bases have been loaded. Rajai Davis delivered a bases loaded 2-run double. And this is the way things have been for Maniactus Ball Club of late. Since May 4th, they are 11-11. And this is a good situation for Corey Patterson. No place to put him.
First pitch, fastball, if it's there, let it go. Look what the Blue Jays bases loaded this season looks like.
Bouncing ball. That'll score a run. All hands are safe. It's going to score 2. Rajai Davis never stopped coming around third. The veteran Orlando Cabrera lost his focus. Once he bobbled the ball, he dropped it a second time. 2 runs come in.
Heads up base running by Rajai Davis. That's one thing we have noticed about him. He's an aggressive base runner. Cabrera tries to get the out in the middle of the diamond. Drops it, picks it up, drops it again. And by then, Davis doesn't stop at all. Watch him notice that Cabrera's back is to the plate, has given up on the play, and scores without a throw.
Great base running by Rajai Davis. Now Bautista takes a first pitch strike. Boy, the Blue Jays have really run the bases aggressively. They've made some mistakes, but it's all being aggressive. And Davis never hesitated coming around third. 2-run score on a fielder's choice.
John Farrell said he will never be upset if you're aggressive on the bases. We might run into some outs. We might take ourselves out of some innings, but I want to establish an aggressive style on the bases, and it worked great there. It worked perfectly for Rajai Davis.
Ball and a strike to Jose Bautista. Carmona has really lost his composure. Maniactus sensed that, and that's why he went to the mound this inning. No one is throwing in the Indians bullpen. Indians lost 2 of 3 to Tampa Bay over the weekend. A borderline strike. Bautista had a good look at it, thought it was off the plate, and it might have been low. Still just 1 out. Escobar at second. Corey Patterson at first. Three and 2.
Jose Bautista getting better all the time. Look at 2010 on this date. He was only hitting .249. 15 and 40. He has upped everything this year. The RBIs haven't been there because they haven't pitched to him.
That was the big question, whether or not he could repeat his season from a year ago. And not only has he gotten off to a better start, he's hitting for a much better average. There go the base runners. Ball is fouled out of play.
100 points higher on this date.
With all of the focus on Bautista. I mean, we heard Kevin Long talk about it in New York, how they watched 65 home runs trying to figure out how to approach it. He didn't get that kind of treatment last year.
No. And we've watched team after team now start to pitch around him with the base open. Even when there are base runners, they are starting to pitch around it.
There they go the runners again. The ball is shot down the right field line. That is trouble. Escobar is going to score. Right behind him, Corey Patterson is around third. He'll score, and there won't be a throw. Bautista's playing like an MVP.
During batting practice today, I was standing behind the cage with Alan Ashby, and we were watching Jose Bautista take batting practice. And he hit about 3 or 4 balls just like this. I think he anticipated that Carmona was going to stay away from him, so he was working on his right field hack. And they were center cut, just as Alan called it, samurai sword over to right field. I mean, just laces the ball down the right field line. Couple of RBIs, another extra base hit. The Blue Jays have put together a big inning.
Rivera, big bounce for the third baseman. Bautista is going to break for third. Here's a return throw, not in time. It keeps the pressure on. Didn't take anything for granted. It was a big bouncing ball. Hanahan had to wait for it. And then when he let the throw go to first, Bautista broke it.
He doesn't take a play off. Plays the game the right way. It's only the 4th inning. And this is by an example right here. This is for the whole team to see that your team's best player, best hitter, is not going to take one play off.
What a great slide. 2 outs. Arancibia drives it to left field. Kearns is back. It's off his glove, up against the wall. Bautista comes in to score. Arancibia is at second with the RBI double. If you don't think hitting isn't contagious, you're nuts. They all think they can hit right now.
What were you talking about last inning? That it's between your ears. You feel confident. The team feels confident, and right now they're rolling. Second hit of the inning for J.P. Arancibia. Pitch out over the middle of the plate, and Austin Kearns just can't come up with it. RBI double for J.P. Arancibia.
Hill is the 11th man to bat in the inning. He was hit by a pitch and scored this inning. Jojo Reyes is thinking, just keep it up, boys. I'm fine right here. Nine more hits tonight. This is the biggest inning of the season, a 7-run inning.
4 times they had scored 6 runs in an inning. The last time was the first inning against the White Sox a couple of days ago, as Chad Durbin has picked up the ball and starting to get loose.
Bouncing ball to third. Hanahan has it. Hill's retired. The Indians finally get out of the inning. But it's a 7-run inning. We have played 4 complete. Now it's time for a connected update with Jamie and Greg live from the BlackBerry broadcast studio at the Rogers. The Blue Jays, they scored 7 runs in the bottom of the 4th inning, and I know that's got to make Faye Giles happy. Faye's a great fan. She'll turn 90 on June 1st, and she's out in Saskatoon and always tunes in to watch her favorite team, the Blue Jays. So happy birthday, Faye. Tim Belcher trying to console Fausto Carmona, and boy, the last couple of nights the starting pitchers have been roughed up. John Danks yesterday for the White Sox went 4 innings, gave up 9 hits, and was charged with 9 earned runs.
Some serious frustration too from John Danks in that game.
After a Bautista at bat, Bautista threw his bat down in the 4th inning, and Danks hollered at him to run the bases, and then he and Bautista exchanged words. And Danks responded afterwards. He thought Bautista was acting like a clown. Bautista said, "Hey, I'm not out here to please John Danks. I got a pitch to hit. I missed it, and I was frustrated." You and I come from a different generation. Nothing would have been said. Danks would have made note. Bautista would have gone around the bases, and next time Danks would have hit him
right in the ribs. Right? And that's just the way it is.
It's the way the game has changed. Jojo Reyes with a 8-run lead. It's 9-1 Blue Jays here. Top of the 5th inning. Reyes has held the Indians to 1 run on 4 hits.
We were talking about Jojo Reyes in the opening and about all he can do in between starts. You know he knows about what has gone on with him the last couple of years. But all you can do is take care of yourself. You go out there, you prepare like any other start. You get your work in between starts. You come out here and hope to pitch a good ball game, and your team gets your runs. I mean, that's all he can do. John Farrell was saying that he has worked as hard as anybody on this team to pick up a W. It just hasn't happened for him so far.
He's had some situations late in the ball game where he's been in position to win, and bullpen has coughed up the lead. Now he falls behind the 3rd baseman, Jack Hanahan. Big swing and a miss. The Indians, we mentioned their dramatic improvement. Last year they were 69-93. And I don't think anybody expected them to start this season 31-19. There's a broken bat flare into center field. That'll get down in front of Rajay Davis. Kearns stops at second. With 2 on and nobody out, let's check in with Jamie Campbell for an update. Well, CC Sabathia salvaged the final game for the Yankees in Seattle, and then Bartolo Colon bounces back with another complete game, and he continues to make people stop and look. Is that the same Bartolo Colon that used to pitch for the Indians? Yes, it is.
There were some jokes going around the batting cage when they saw that what Colon was doing this afternoon, that hey, it's time to like line up for some stem cell surgery. I mean, he's been amazing.
Improves his season record to 3-3. Top of the order. Michael Brantley has already walked once. He's been on base both times. Bouncing ball to second. Hill goes to Escobar for 1. Back to first in time. 3rd double play of the ball game turned by the infield. Escobar does a great job getting that feed from Hill.
Brantley can really run. The ball's hit hard, and all Aaron Hill has to do is get the ball over there and let Escobar do the rest. And he certainly does that. He clears himself at second base. That was the whole key to that play right there. That is one of the plays that Escobar has been working on, clearing himself away from that runner at second base so he can use that good arm to finish that double play.
Asdrubal Cabrera has grounded into 2 of those 3 double plays. 2 outs, man at third. Takes the ball. Austin Kearns is at third base. Check swing, foul tip. We mentioned Cabrera. Cabrera and the right fielder Shin-Soo Choo came in a deal with the Seattle Mariners back on June 30th, 2006. There's a bouncing ball. Big hop for Escobar. Has to throw on the run, and he throws his strike. So a walk and a single got it started. Another double play behind JoJo Reyes. He has pitched 5 here. He leads. Be right back here tomorrow night, a 7:07 p.m. start. Wednesday also a night game. For tickets you can log on to BlueJays.com. Call the Blue Jays directly at 416-341-1234 or stop by most Rogers Plus locations. Brandon Morrow will go to the mound tomorrow night. Morrow coming off his best start of the season. He went 7 innings, allowed just 4 hits, 1 earned run. He struck out 5, but by his own admission he felt like he was really in command of that ball game, and he would end up with a no decision. JoJo Reyes looking for his first win. He is now the pitcher of record with that top half of the 5th complete. New pitcher for Cleveland is Chad Durbin.
The veteran Chad Durbin was signed as a free agent on March the 1st. This year 2-1, ERA at 4.87. There are his numbers this season. He's been around. He basically pitched out of the bullpen his whole career.
Eric Thames has a 2-hit night. Went down and stroked that ball into center. That'll start the 5th inning. That's the 10th hit for the Blue Jays already, and Fausto Carmona has really gone through a tough start.
How about the plate coverage of Eric Thames as that ball goes down and away from him? Good piece of hitting right there.
Rajai Davis paired doubles already tonight. Driven into and scored 2. Right off the pitcher, and that'll go into right field. Thames is thinking about third as Orlando Cabrera got to it quickly. That ball was bouncing off the pitcher as Durbin turned his back on the bouncing ball. Davis has his 3rd hit of the night.
When you are swinging the bat like the Blue Jays are swinging the bat, they seem to find holes or they ricochet off of the pitcher for base hits. This time right off the backside of Durbin into no man's land.
Boy, the bottom 3 in this order are now 6 for 8. Good start to their night. First and second, nobody out. Blue Jays lead 9-1. Jason Nix homered in his first at bat. Popped up outside of first base. Laporta is there, and Nix is retired. Quickly, let's check in with Jamie Campbell. That's a great note. Brothers hitting home runs on the same day. Of course, Nix and his brother Lance, and Corey Patterson and his brother Eric, and the Molina brothers. Blue Jays have 3 brother combinations on this team.
Yep, Upton brothers have homered on the same day a couple of times this year.
Justin in Arizona. Arizona, by the way, don't look now, but they're in first place. Chad Durbin in his second stint with the Indians. He pitched with the Indians at the end of the 03 season and into the 04 season. Started out his career with the Kansas City Royals way back in 1996. He has pitched in the big leagues with Kansas City, Cleveland, Detroit, and most recently before Cleveland, the Philadelphia Phillies.
Basically been a reliever, not a lot of starts in his career. Then throw hard, sinker slider type of pitcher. Then blow the ball by you. It's had a good May for Cleveland. 2-0, 169 earned run average this month.
Broken bat flare into right field. Everything's falling for the Blue Jays. Here comes Thames around third. He'll slide across. The 10th run of the ball game. Escobar drives in a run.
Every time you swing the bat, you find a hole. That's just what happens when you're hot. Other times you'll swing and hit it right on the nose and have nothing to show for it. This time off the end of the bat, saws his bat in 2 pieces. And it's a line drive into right field, RBI single.
Well, that bat exploded. But Escobar has his second hit, his first RBI of the night. Davis goes all the way to third. Blue Jays again doing a great job batting with runners in scoring position. 6 for 11 tonight. Patterson to left. Davis tagging Kearns with a strong arm. Here comes Davis to the plate. The throw is offline and cut off. 11-1 Blue Jays. Patterson picks up the RBI, his 25th of the season.
When you're hot, it seems like somebody is on base every time you step up there. Patterson with high fives after his 25th RBI.
The Jays are trying to win 4 in a row for the first time since last September. Bautista, perfect night at the plate. 2 hits and a walk. Improvement this year in Bautista's ability to hit the ball to right.
I think that's why he is hitting close to 360.
Hits it right into the shift, and they get the force out at second. Bautista hits it sharply, but the Blue Jays add 2 more. It's 11-1. JoJo Reyes with a big lead. Cup final. You can see all the previews on Canucks Connected Stanley Cup Edition tomorrow at 11 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Pacific Time on Sportsnet East, Ontario, West, and Pacific. Vancouver will take on Boston in the Stanley Cup Finals. Number 3 hitter Shin-Soo Choo gets a first pitch base hit to start the 6th inning. Choo's first hit of the night.
Choo got off to a rough start this year. Just 2 hits in his first 24 at bats as the fan club of Shin-Soo Choo is out. Slowly but surely that batting average is moving up for him.
Shelley Duncan's had a good night at the plate. Got a single his first time up and hit a home run into the 500 level here at Rogers Center. Only the 15th home run hit into the 5th deck. There hadn't been one hit into that 5th deck since Jason Worth did it back in interleague play in June of 2009. Jason Worth hit that one off Brad Mills. And there was a long drought between Vernon Wells, who hit one in 2004 off of Rodrigo Lopez, to Jason Worth in 2009. 1-1. Duncan drives this one into right off the end of the bat. Southeast is there.
Josh Phelps, I saw him do that. What was the...
Josh Phelps actually did it twice. August of 2002 against Roger Clemens, and then July 7th of 2004 against Ruben Mateo. But you remember the Clemens one.
I remember the Clemens one because it was like, huh? Wow.
One out. Orlando Cabrera fouls it out of play. I think JoJo Reyes' teammates said, you know what, let's go out and score some runs for JoJo. He had pitched so well and had several opportunities to pick up a win. This one's popped up behind shortstop. Escobar back, Patterson in. Patterson makes the catch. Well, he called for it late, but Escobar heard him and peeled out of the way, and Patterson stayed with it.
Yeah, had a long way to go, did Corey Patterson. Pop-up priority. The outfielder coming in has priority over the infielder going out. Patterson calls him off. He peels out of the way and stays with it to make the out.
2 outs. Santana checked his swing.
I think JoJo Reyes has pitched well enough to win 3 or 4 ball games this year. He's had a couple of them taken away from him late, which really hurts. He pitched well enough, I think, in Los Angeles to beat the Angels.
Against the Angels, he went 7 innings, gave up 6 hits, just 1 earned run. Got a loss in that game. That game was against Irvin Santana. Then in Tampa against the Rays on the 3rd of May. He had a good outing and had the lead going into the 9th. B.J. Upton hit a 2-run home run off John Roush. Then you look at the Houston game. 7 innings, 5 hits, didn't allow a run, struck out 7 in that ball game. Could have won that game. Bouncing ball. Nix wide of 3rd, goes to 2nd for the force out. Reyes gets out of the 6th. The Blue Jays have scored 11 runs on 12 hits. Juan Rivera looking for his first hit. Aaron Sevia's got a pair and an RBI. Aaron Hill has scored a run. Lots of balance in this attack. that's going to change. 4 innings, 9 hits, 7 earned runs will be charged to Fausto Carmona. He walked a couple and gave up a 2-run home run to Jason Nix.
Second time this year that he has failed to pitch more than 4 innings. The ERA will jump. Carmona just couldn't control his pitches after the first couple of innings, just pulled off of a few of them.
And he ran into a very hot-hitting Blue Jays lineup. Chad Durbin in his second inning of work will face Rivera, Aaron Sebia, and Aaron Hill here in the 6th. Corey Patterson had an RBI, sac fly to left. Rajay Davis, he's had 3 hits tonight, including a pair of doubles. And JoJo Reyes is enjoying himself.
Nobody's talking to him. Leave him alone.
Rivera lines it right to the left fielder, Austin Kearns. We haven't mentioned the hats, but you see Kearns' hat there. It's a different logo. It's a Stars and Stripes logo. It's Memorial Day in the United States. Major League Baseball teams all across baseball are wearing special caps, and the Blue Jays have their red hat on.
We'll see these on Memorial Day. We'll see them on July the 4th, Independence Day. And they break them out also for September the 11th in memory of 9/11.
Baseball has been very in tune to acknowledging different things. Of course, Mother's Day with the breast cancer awareness situation, and then Father's Day, they have the prostate cancer awareness day as well, and the players wear blue wristbands and doing a good job of raising awareness for different occasions. One and two to JP Aaron Sebia. Aaron Sebia has a pair of hits. He scored a run and driven in one. Aaron Sebia has 26 RBI. Fly ball into right. Chu is there. 2 outs here in the 6th.
You know, another thing that Major League Baseball has done over the last few years that I think they've brought some awareness to is the civil rights game, which I think has become a very big thing, and baseball does a good job with that too.
Just trying to really bring awareness to several important issues. And Hill goes after that breaking ball. Hill is 0 for 2. He was hit by a pitch in the 4th and scored in that 7-run inning. A big curveball. Chad Durbin didn't sign until March 1st. He was part of the Philadelphia Phillies for the last 3 seasons. Pitched in the postseason with Philadelphia. Got into 2 games in the World Series in each of 2008 and 2009 with the Phillies. Picked up a win in the 2009 NLCS. The win came in relief. Had 4 appearances in that series. Ground ball to third. Hill is retired a 1-2-3 6th inning. It's a perfect night in Toronto for baseball. The Blue Jays hitters have their hitting shoes on again. 12 more hits. They've scored 11 runs for JoJo Reyes. Texas has their team back intact with Cruz and Josh Hamilton back active, and boy, are they swinging the bats. They had a big comeback win in yesterday's game against Kansas City.
Nelly Cruz.
Whew. There's a drive, but foul off the bat of Matt Laporta. Nelly Cruz got knocked down by Joaquin Soria, and then in the same at bat, took him deep. And then the way Rangers scored the winning run, it was really unfortunate for Kansas City. Brian Pena didn't lock the plate, and Napoli slid right under the tag. The ball is popped into foul ground. Aaron Seavey over near the Indians dugout makes the catch.
He tagged him, but he was on top of the plate.
Yeah, that was awful.
Not a good play there.
So much controversy, so much discussion over the Buster Posey injury that Brian Pena looked like he had to be thinking about that, because Napoli was bearing down on him, and he came in and slid, and Pena was back behind the plate. Just wasn't a good play.
Texas looks like they are ready to take off with their hitting. They're second in the American League in home runs.
Austin Kearns takes a strike. 0-2. One out here in the 7th inning. Blue Jays have staked JoJo Reyes to a 10-1 lead. 11-1 for Reyes.
This is where the pitcher just says, okay, here, boys, here's your fastball. Let me see you hit your way on. And he does just that. High fastball. First strikeout of the night for JoJo Reyes as he puts away Austin Kearns. Second time that he has struck out Austin Kearns tonight. Challenges him with a fastball. Kearns comes up empty.
Exactly what you said. Throw the fastball and challenge the Indians to put it in play. 2 outs now in the 7th. Jack Hanahan, the third baseman, had a single his last time up. But you know, JoJo Reyes has to be thinking about it now. I don't care what he says after the game. He is in line to win the ball game. 7th inning, 2 outs, 0-2 count. Number 9 hitter Jack Hanahan whips it into center field. Davis back. Plenty of room. JoJo Reyes gets out of the 7th with a 1-2-3 7th inning. Blue Jays are all over Cleveland. They lead 11-1.
for Manny Acta. He's had a good year. The last few years have been rough for Rafael Perez. A lot of base hits per innings pitched, but this year much better. He's got a good sinking fastball, a sharp slider. Pitching to an ERA just over 1 this year.
Well, the Blue Jays have racked up double-digit hits again here tonight. They had a season-high 18 hits in yesterday's game. And Eric Thames will lead things off. Bottom of the order has done a good job here all night long. Thames has 2 hits. Davis has 3, and Nix has a 2. Thames bounces it towards second. Cabrera on the run. Thames is retired. First out of the 7th inning. And we are now pleased to be joined by a very good baseball fan. Somebody you might recognize, Timothy Busfield. Timothy, great to have you here. Good to see you.
Well, thanks, Buck, for having me out here, Pat. This is really cool.
You are a great baseball fan, and in fact, you and I had the pleasure of playing for the same baseball team at different times, of course. But
And you played it a little bit better than I did. I'll guarantee you that. Yeah, we played for the Sacramento Smokies.
Sacramento Smokies, a semi-pro team in Sacramento, California. And what brings you to Toronto this time?
I'm here directing a TV show for Lifetime. It hasn't come on yet. It's called Against the Wall. It's got Treat Williams and Kathy Baker. It's got a great cast. It's a lot of fun. I love bounce. I love going to cities where I can go see ball games. And what a great night to come out here and see Toronto just erupt at the plate.
Well, you have heard an awful lot about Jose Bautista, and you've seen him swing a little bit tonight. What do you think?
Well, the line drive he hit in the first inning, the ball just right back up the middle. It tells you a lot. He's not looking for the home runs. He's happy to go up the middle with the ball hard. That's probably why he's hitting the ball so well. Is, you know, you see these guys, they want to pull. They're pull happy when they get those kind of numbers. But what's the first thing he does is he just takes it right back up the box. And,
there's a pop-up off the bat of Davis. He'll be retired for the first time. Now, you were a pitcher when you played, so give me your thoughts on how you might attack Jose Bautista.
I wouldn't waste. I'd probably hit him just so I could not have to give up too many. I wouldn't want to take my
like
arm.
a true pitcher.
There's no way I'd throw anything to him. I mean, it would be comical. I couldn't throw anything past him, and he would just move up on any of my breaking balls. So I think you'd have to walk him. I wouldn't want to pitch to this guy. Dave Kingman would have been the perfect guy for me to throw it, because I'd throw it slow and in the dirt, and he would have swung it all.
He would have chased it all.
He would have chased it all.
So now there are 2 outs, and the number 9 hitter is Jason Nix. I got to tell you, Pat.
Yeah, I knew you were going to go
when
there.
Pat saw you here today, he was a little bitter, because he was a big fan of Field of Dreams, and he kept wondering why you kept wanting to take the farm away.
Yeah, it was, what a great part, what a great movie. There's one move a baseball move that you had to play a little bit of ball. I walk in front of home plate, and a ball goes by me in a bat, and the director asked me to do it, and I looked at him like, you're out of your mind. Unfortunately, the pitcher had been a minor leaguer with Tommy Lasorda when he was another base hit up the middle. Look at that. Look at that.
Our third basemen are on fire as Nix is going to try. No, he holds up. Has the double with 2 outs. You played that part so well that I was so mad at you.
Yeah, you want. That's what you want. That's what you want when you get to play the bad guy. You know, there's the good guy, the bad guy, and the chicks. And Costner has a chin, so he's going to get the good guy. Amy Madigan, I can't do that. So I got to play something.
You've seen a lot of great baseball players, but talk about your thoughts about sitting next to Burt Lancaster during that movie.
Well, Burt Lancaster, I always liked imitating him. Yeah, this hot dog is stuck in the throat. And say it's so hot I can kill. No more jokes. One time, Costner was taking a long time, and he goes, "Are you going to take that long? Because if you're going to take that long, I'll find something to do." It was for you kidding. I grew up on him. I was a Hall of Famer. I love Lancaster.
Then you had a chance to play baseball in Saskatoon. You got to tell us about that opportunity.
I had a really nice, in the Sacramento Smokies, you have scouts at just about every game because you're playing in the college leagues. And you have a mix of ex-pro ball players and some minor league players, major league. And I struck out 9 of the first 10 of San Mateo's team and threw a 2-hitter. And I got a call the next morning. I hobbled to the phone, and it was Larry Manuin, the manager out there, saying, "Kid, I get you $500 a month to play with Saskatchewan. And I was 30. I think I was 36 at the time, and it's the St. Paul Saints League. It's the just hitting the ball hard, everything. They're hitting everything hard tonight. And I got a call, and I looked over at my wife, and I said, I got an offer to play pro baseball for $500 a month. And she said, I can't buy a pair of shoes for that. No way.
When we come back, a little more Timothy Busfield, the Blue Jays in a laugher against the Indians. Home run like that when you have a comfortable lead, and that was a memorable home run. Jojo Reyes doesn't mind that at all. He's got a 10-run lead. 7 innings, 6 hits. He's walked 3 and struck out 3. First pitch inside to the leadoff batter, Michael Brantley. Timothy Busfield is with us, and Timothy's in Toronto directing a TV show, and you're always a big baseball fan. You know all about Jojo Reyes and what he's up against tonight.
Well, was it 29? 29
this
starts.
This is 29 start.
Without a victory. I was, so much of that's going to be not him. It's run production, and he's just trying to be a team player, I'm sure, and just begging his team to wake up their bats and score some runs for him. Somewhere along the line, he could have won a game, 12-8. Giving up 8 runs, but to break it is great, and hopefully it turns him on. One turn like that, and this guy can hopefully win a lot of games for Toronto.
There he gives up the leadoff walk to Brantley.
Have you had a chance to watch the Blue Jays play at all, or is this your first time?
This is my very first time at this stadium right here. Of course, I was an American League East fan growing up with the Tigers, and I've always been a Toronto, Red Sox, Yankees. These are the teams that I've always followed, and I've loved Toronto. I loved Cito when he was here. Winfield, I saw him play in college when I was a kid, bat boying in Michigan State. I saw him pitch and became a fan of Winfield's, and Winfield came here. It seems like so many great players. Jack Morris coming through here, and Steve was a big hero of mine. I really loved the way he kept hitters off balance, and it's been a great franchise to watch. And you were a great clutch hitter. You were talking earlier about, I remember you coming to the plate, Tabby this. Nobody wanted to see you at the plate coming out there, coming off the bench.
Snuck a few in there, here and there.
That's
about it.
Come on, you're one of the great clutch hitters of all time, they say.
You created a big celebration down in our truck. One of the tape operators is maybe the biggest Tiger fan in this part of the world.
Well, it's a club that's really been exciting to watch the last few years, and I was happy when they got rid of Granderson, and now I'm wishing they had him back. And all of a sudden maybe he's not a lifetime 230 home run hitter. Maybe actually might creep that batting average up there. I don't know. They seem like they're strong, and they falter. They win a few and they lose 14.
Well, the one thing, and give us your impression of the American League East. Everybody knows how tough the Yankees are. The Tampa Bay's hanging in there pretty good. Who do you think is going to come out of the East when it's all said and done?
Well, most of the sportscasters and what I'm reading and following are liking the Red Sox, and I just look at that team and I just like the Red Sox. I like they're so well balanced, and they can score a lot of runs on you in a hurry, but. I don't take it away from anybody in this division. One or two injuries to the Red Sox, and you're one or two injuries away from sliding in any of these teams. Nobody's going to lock it up yet, and the Yankees are always going to compete. And Toronto's there. You guys are at 500 now. There's no reason why you guys can't win, 15 out of 20, 22, and next thing you know, you're competing, and you're right in it.
Everybody is bunched together. Toronto's game over 500, just 3 games out of first place. Baltimore just 5 games out. They're in last place. So you're right. Everybody is right there.
Yeah, anybody can take it. And you guys know from on any given day, it's what who wins. Somebody's going to lose 60 or win 60, and someone's going to win 100. And you're going to have all these teams bunched in right there in the 90s. And it's going to be an exciting season for the American League East.
Lots of balance all around baseball, and certainly the National League. Arizona has crept into first place. I don't know how they did it, but they are in first place. And Kurt Gibson, their former Tigers, doing a good job of managing that team as well.
Yeah, Gibby, a Michigan Stater too. I like that. I remember seeing him when he first came up. I don't think he had any idea what he was doing out there. He turned into a great player. He's one of those guys who just said, "I'm going to figure this out." Had a lot of natural ability, but didn't look comfortable out in the field as a rookie. And you guys, I don't know how you train and take care of each other. I've always tried to emulate the baseball training that I had in directing and acting and working with actors and the delicate personalities that you have out there. And, Gibson had to learn the game, and pros like you guys that bring him along and take a young talent like that.
I don't know if I've ever heard anybody talk about Kurt Gibson as a delicate personality.
Hey, a lot of nobody thinks of these guys as delicate. He is a football player. He is a Michigan Sparty.
He was a football player playing baseball.
Yeah.
And he figured it out, and he was outstanding.
Yeah.
Timothy, we certainly want to thank you for joining us and adding to our show. It's great to hear your baseball take on things.
Well, you know what? This is such a pleasure for me. I'm so honored to be around Major League Baseball players. It was my hope and dream as a child, and then I realized I couldn't play. I could just act like a baseball player, so I became an actor. Thank you for having me.
It's great to see you, and good luck here in Toronto.
Thanks.
There's Shelley Duncan. He lines it right to Corey Patterson and left. Patterson hangs with it and closes things out. Blue Jays have a 10-run lead. Now it's time for a connected update with Jamie and Greg live from the Blackberry Broadcast Studio at the Rogers Center. Jays 70s night. Blue Jays will take on the Baltimore Orioles at 7:07 p.m. Wear your best 70s outfit and win prizes throughout the game. John Mayberry will be signing autographs near section 127 from 5:45 p.m. to 6:30. Call the Blue Jays at 416-341-1234 for information and tickets. Log on to BlueJays.com, or you can stop by most Rogers Plus locations. 70s night. Come out and watch the Blue Jays take on the Orioles. Adam Everett comes on defensively, taking over at shortstop for Asdrubal Cabrera. Cabrera gets the rest of the night off. Finished a tough 0 for 4 tonight. Rafael Perez in his second inning of work. Perez gave up a 2-out double, but nothing more in the 7th. Corey Patterson. Patterson has an RBI. He's also scored a run, looking for his first hit of the night.
A little modest 2-game hit streak for Patterson, but what a 2 games that has been over the weekend.
Yeah, if you're going to have a 2-game hit streak, it's pretty good to go 9 for 12. He'll be retired, and he's the first out of the 8th. Jays will be back on Sportsnet tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 3:30 p.m. Pacific Time. Sportsnet East Ontario, West End Pacific. Game 2 of this 3-game series against the Cleveland Indians. Brandon Morrow will go to the mound. Jose Bautista will be pinch hit for. Mike McCoy comes on to bat with 1 out in the 8th inning. Bautista finishes the night 2 for 3. Scored a run and drove in 2. He now has 38 RBI for the season.
That double he hit down the right field line was a thing of beauty back in the 4th inning. I mean, it's almost like he knew Fausto Carmona was going to try and work him away with fastballs, and he just shot it into the corner.
Off speed pitch, ball on the strike. He truly has a much better approach about handling the outer half, and you're right, he's well prepared for that. We saw him in BP. He made an effort to hit the ball down the right field line. Sure enough, it came into play in the game.
Not an accident when you hit 350. You've got to have great talent, and you've got to have the smarts, I think, to figure it all out, and then the heart to get out there and work and put the time in, what it takes to become a 350 type of hitter.
It would be an accident if I hit 350. Be a train wreck. McCoy pops it into right field.
We were both 350 hitters.
We had 3 or 4 years together. I could get up to 350.
I was thinking more like we hit at 350 in the afternoon. BP.
So there are 2 outs in the 8th.
Rivera trying to keep his hit streak alive as he steps to the plate here in the 8th inning, 0 for 4. Hit the ball hard as last time. Line drive to the outfield.
John Farrell's had a couple of games where he can sit back a little bit. 13-4 win in yesterday's game. Rivera out in front of the off-speed pitch. There haven't been too many games where Farrell could just sit back and enjoy. Blue Jays played a 14-inning affair on Saturday. Friday night they won 4-2. So this is a little unusual for John Farrell to have a comfortable lead late in the ball game.
You know what? And JoJo Reyes is going to go out for the 9th inning and try and win it with a complete game. And wouldn't that be, I don't know if you want to call it the icing on the cake or the exclamation point at the end of the sentence, whatever you want to call it, to get that win and throw a complete game.
Well, and John Farrell understands what it means to a pitcher to be able to walk off the field with his team. Especially with a chance to end this long winless streak. Two balls and a strike, 2 outs here, bottom of the 8th inning. Popped into center field. Brantley on the run, gets there and makes the catch. 3 up, 3 down in the 8th inning. Jojo Reyes will go back for the 9th, looking for his first win in 29 starts. Waiting another first, only from Rogers.
The Blue Jays were winning just 2-1 as they came to bat in the 4th inning, but then here come the base hits. Aaron Sebia, Thames, Davis, and who else? Jose Bautista with his double down the right field line in case Aaron Sebia would have another shot. All told, the Blue Jays scored 7 runs on 5 hits and blew this game wide open.
And that all sets up Jojo Reyes for his first win in 29 starts, and all the fans here at Rogers Center well aware of what's at stake. And it's very appropriate that John Farrell has sent Jojo Reyes out for the 9th.
That 7-run inning, the highest of the season. A couple more runs the inning after that, 11-1. It has enabled him to be relaxed as Mike McCoy stays in the game. Takes over in right field for Jose Bautista. But it gives Jojo Reyes a chance to relax and finish it off.
And the crowd is behind them. Orlando Cabrera 1 for 3. Bounces it deep to 3rd. Nix with a long throw. Tagged by Rivera, first out. Let's check in quickly with Jamie Campbell. Never would have guessed that after what we saw from Chicago to round up this 4-game series they just played here. First pitch strike. Jojo Reyes is feeling it now. Carlos Santana. Matt Keogh, when he finally won a game after 28 consecutive starts, he pitched a complete game against the Milwaukee Brewers. He went 9 innings, gave up 5 hits and a single run. And in that game, Dwayne Murphy, the Blue Jays hitting coach, hit a 3-run home run in the 6th. Oakland won that game 6-1, but Keogh finally won a game.
And his 28 games were all in one season. That year you were just talking about. That win came towards the end of the season. 28 straight times he went to the mound without winning.
2 balls and 2 strikes, 1 out here, top of the 9th. Another ground ball to third. Nix with a long throw in the dirt, not in time. Santana's aboard. Infield hit.
Santana gets down that line as the big hop, as Nix waits for it, unloads it across the diamond. He beats it out clearly. Even if that ball goes over on the fly, Santana looked like he was going to beat that one out, so it'll go as an infield hit. The 7th of the night for the Indians.
1 out. Matt Laporta is 0 for 3. This has popped up over near the Indians dugout. Aaron Sebia on the warning track gets there and makes the catch. June 13, 2008, when he was with the Atlanta Braves. That's the last time JoJo Reyes won. He is thrilled to be 1 out away from ending all the talk about the winless streak.
That was 8 innings, 5 hits. Just gave up the 1 earned run. And right now he can see the finish line. And it's a sprint.
Fans are reacting to this as if he's throwing a no-hitter. Little blooper, and that'll get down in right field. Austin Kearns, his first hit of the night.
He is up to 116 pitches. In that game we were talking about earlier against the Los Angeles Angels, he threw a season high 119. So this is nothing new right here. John Farrell wants him to finish this ball game.
Jack Hanahan, the third baseman. Strike 1. Starting pitchers poised to get into the celebration. 0-2. Stays alive.
Blue Jays have had 1 complete game this year, and that was Ricky Romero's, but I think it was an 8-inning complete game that he threw on the road. They have not had a 9-inning complete game this year. This might be it right here.
One and 2. Fans have been on their feet for the entire inning. Got him. What a way to end the ball game. JoJo Reyes has won 11-1, and the teammates are there to help him celebrate. JoJo Reyes with a complete game. 1 run on 8 hits, and he strikes out the last batter of the game to end it.
That is how you do it. You break it right there. A 9-inning complete game for JoJo Reyes. He gives up just the 1 earned run, the home run to Shelley Duncan. It took him 121 pitches, but he gets the job done.
Big smile and acknowledges the fan. What a good start to this series. Blue Jays win 11-1. JoJo Reyes, the winner. Now stay tuned for Connected.